Hi, this is Tanya from LoveBuddha Tarot, back with the card of today for the 18th of August 2016. Right, I'm home, so everything is back to normal now, or back to as normal as it can be. I'm really excited this morning. I got woken up very early. A lot of stuff being downloaded. It's literally the last couple of days when I haven't been doing the readings. There's been so much coming through, but I think that's because I've spent quite a bit of time at the beach. Very connected, absolutely lovely. And I need to apologize as well. I don't know if you can see it on here, but I have a little bit of a black eye. I had a bit of an accident yesterday, and I ended up punching myself in the head and caused myself to I've got a big bump and it's all bruised. But I was trying to move my bag and it wasn't going to move, so I pulled it and the snap strapped and I punched myself in the face. So that tells me if something's not working and if something is putting up a lot of resistance, then you know, do it another way, because you know it was me that ended up getting hurt. But it was my friend that was with me at the time said it was a very Tanya thing to do. But I did see stars. It was so bizarre. But anyway, sorry. I'm just really excited to be back here. First of all, I need to mention before I do the cards. Today we have a full moon. Today, absolutely beautiful. I don't know if anybody was out last night and watching it. It was such a beautiful moon when I was coming home. Now, this is the moon in Aquarius. Some people say that it's a partial eclipse, some astrologers, you know. So what I think it's doing is paving the way for the eclipses that we're going to have in September. I think I've mentioned that before, you know. But this moon is all about... Aquarius moon is like the eccentric moon, you know. It's about thinking outside of the box. What I want to say and what I want to warn you here, because there is a warning comes with this. I mean, the moon's energies are always very powerful, and with this one, it's no exception. So those of you that are living authentically and living true to yourself will have a much smoother time over the period of this moon. Those of you who aren't, those of you who are wearing a mask, those of you who are still not living true to yourself will probably find this a bit of a struggle. It's a big shake-up moon, okay? This moon is all about breaking up the old to make way for the new, you know? What I want to say with this as well, and what came through today, is that everything you have been manifesting is there. But unless you make way for it, you know, what is the point in manifesting if what you manifest has no room to fit in to your life? So this is quite a complicated one. It's like we need to release in order to receive. That was what I got this morning. So in releasing, we make way, and then what we want to receive can actually step into that. Now, this moon as well, what is important or unusual or rare about this is that we have a yod. Now, a yod it's when the three planets go in sort of a isosceles triangle to each other. And this is often called the finger of God or the finger of fate. So what this is doing is this is giving you a chance, giving you another chance to correct your course, to go back and to redo something with another way. You know, have you ever handed, like, you know, when you were at school or anything, you handed a paper in and it wasn't quite perfect, it wasn't quite what they wanted, but they would say, can you go back and do it again, but put this and this in it? This is what's happening. It's allowing you to correct what hasn't been right or where you went off course. It's sort of detouring you back on course here. What is significant about this as well is things that happened, thoughts and things that happened between April and July of this year. This is when they're coming back to the surface. So, like I say, there's a lot going on with it. Those who I've mentioned that are living authentically, that are living true to themselves, that are stepping up and walking their talk, you know, This is a really, really good time where you will continue to stop caring about what other people think of you as well. This is a time for deciding for yourself. And it's a real time of empowerment as well. So it's like all of this stifling negative energy that you've been feeling will just break away. And you're changing your own personal way as well, you know. Now, if you're not, then you need to make changes today. And this is what the cards are saying as well. But I just need to put this in because they give me a lot about the moon today. So it's up to you now whether you make changes. If you don't make these changes, then you just have to put up and shut up. That's pretty much how it is. You know, this moon is quite blunt with what it's saying. You've sowed seeds in the past. Again, that comes up in the cards. But it's whether you are prepared to see things through. If you're not, then that's fine. You know, it's your life. It's nobody else's life. But you have to be prepared to put up with what you're going to put up with. And you have to shut up complaining about it because that is your choice. So this is what this moon is saying today. So sorry, it's you know, it's a little bit of a crazy energy around. It's a wonderful energy if you want to embrace it, and it's fantastic. It can bring you so much fulfillment and happiness, but the choice is yours whether you want to take it or not. So right, okay, I've rambled on about the moon that much, but this is everything that sort of came through today. So basically the key words of this are release to receive. I think that's what it is. So now we go back to the cards. Sorry about that. Like I say, it was there. It had to come out. So I pulled 2 cards today. I pulled another one from the Osho because what happened when I went to pull the cards this morning, they were literally flying all over the place. They just wouldn't stay in my hands. A lot of the cards that were coming out were the 3 of Swords. There was the Chariot. You know, there was a lot of cards that we've had over the last couple of weeks. So obviously I don't want to continue to read them again. Then I picked a card. One let me pick it. It came out, but I picked an Osho just to verify this. So the first card that we have is the 2 of Wands. Now this card talks about choices that have to be made. Like I've said before, seeds have been sown in the past, right? Okay. And what this is saying is this is a time for progressing, for planning, and for moving forward. You know, it's not just in the thinking stage now. This is a time for action. So you are being called to act. And the best time to do it is during this full moon. Because what I want to say and what I want to give a warning with as well is in the next couple of weeks, we have about 2 weeks, then what happens is Mercury goes retrograde again. When Mercury goes retrograde, we are in for trouble. A lot of things, there's communication breakdowns, you know, it's not pretty. So you have like this 2-week window, you know, where the moon and the universe and the finger of God, this yod, is working for you, to support you, to comfort you, to nurture you, and to push you forward. So you have that on your side. But like I say, the clock is ticking on that. So what this card is saying is, like I say, it's time to move forward, but I still feel that there's a lot of underlying insecurities and worry around this, you know, but please, that isn't justified. This is telling you, this card is saying, step out of your comfort zone and go with what your instinct and your inner voice is telling you, you know, because there is so much fulfillment around this opportunity. If you take it, but like I say, you know, the choice is yours. But you're in a quandary as whether to stick with what you know or to take a chance. And this is what this card is talking about. What I want to say is that you know deep down in your being, in your soul, in whatever you want to call it, you know that the world has something more and something bigger to offer you, something a lot more meaningful. Yet you're also aware that in order to get this, you've got to leave familiar ground. So this card is about, it's like being at a crossroads and it's right, which way do I go? Do I stay with the familiar? Do I stay with what I know, which is here, which to be honest, when I'm looking there, it's like can't see the wood for the trees. Or do I venture out into the unknown where you know, there's blue skies, the sea, things are a lot freer because there's a lot of freedom coming in with this card as well. So, like I say, with this, it's like, this is about taking a risk and taking a risk on something new. I've said this before, if you carry on doing what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. And this is about venturing into the new, you know, but something needs to be left behind. But what I always say with this card is, it will be so worth it. You will gain so much more. I said before, this is release to receive. I remember when I was a child on Christmas Eve, my mum used to make me take all of my presents down to the local children's home. And I didn't like that. It was like, they're mine, you know, I want them. But I had to make way, and then I would wake up the next morning and there would be all these other presents there, you know, that were newer, that were fresher, that were, you know, there wasn't the comfort with them because they were new, but, you know, there was more excitement with them. It was something more of the time. So, like I say, this card is saying that every journey starts with a single step. Balance will be restored if you allow it, and your life will start at the end of your comfort zone. So really go easy on yourself today, you know, trust your intuition, let go of any fear, and think to yourself, what's the worst that can happen? Because like I say, we have these projections about, we often project what could go wrong rather than what could go right. So really try and put that out of your head today. And like I say, I really feel it's a time to walk your talk, if that makes sense. So that was the first card. Then what we've got is the Osho. Now, anybody that listens to these readings know that I love the Osho cards. I just love Osho in general, you know. And this card is such a wonderful card. It's called Ripeness, and it's the 9 of rainbows. You know, again, I love my rainbows. So what this is saying is, this is a time now to reflect outward everything that you've learned and developed. You know, it's time to take your idea forward. So the two cards really coincide with each other there. So this is telling you that it's time to make the leap of faith, whatever it is for you. You might have felt up until now that you weren't ready for this as well. But after giving it a lot of thought, it's like, it's time to bite the bullet, you know. And like I say, these next 2 weeks are the best time to do it, you know, because you have the moon sort of helping you and leading your way as well. What this card is also saying is that there has been quite a lot of growing going on. It's like you've matured in some way, and now you are ready to fall from that tree, you know. So if we think about fruit, it takes a time to grow. When it's fully there, it just falls naturally, you know, without any, you don't have to go and pick it. It just falls because the time is right, you know. So what this is saying is you're ready now to fall away from the tree. You know that you don't need to depend on that tree now, you know, and you know that you don't need to depend on others as a crutch to nourish you and fulfill you. You know, you don't need other people to succeed. This is what this moon was saying, you know, it's about you stepping into your amazing uniqueness, stepping outside of the box and living the life that you want to live. This is the time it's like, right, okay, I'm going to do it my way. You're setting the terms, you're calling the shots here. And there is this process of letting go as well, but it's letting go of something that you no longer need and no longer serves you. This can be old habits, this can be old processes, old ways of thinking. This can be people as well and relationships, you know. But this is a time to start to serve yourself rather than other people. This transition, I don't even feel it's going to be hard. Normally transitions are a bit tricky. Like I say, this fruit is ready. It's ready to fall from that tree. It doesn't need it anymore. It's served its purpose. So when you fall from the tree, when you allow this to happen, and when you allow this transition to happen, there's going to be a much lighter, a much fresher feel, you know, and you're free to take care of all of the planning that you've been going on in your head. Like I say, because I really feel there's a lot of stuff been going on like sort of inwardly, and it's now time to turn that outwardly as well, you know. So it's time to express your individuality, you know, to stand strong and like, look at me, you know, look at what I've been through, look at what I've turned into, and look at how I've matured. And it's like, you don't now need other people's approval or somebody to say to you, yeah, you're doing good. It's like, I know that I'm doing good. You know, I know that I'm stepping into my power, and I know that that is all I need. I was talking to a wonderful guy that I've met yesterday, and we were talking about this, and it was all about stepping into your power, and he was still struggling a little bit with how others thought about it, even though he is in a place of where he is so happy with himself. He's took some big risks, and you know, they've paid off massively, not monetarily but massively, you know. But he said to me, like, how do I stop other people from sort of getting at me with that? And I said, change the people that you're around, because when you're around like sort of your tribe or whatever, I mean, I was so pleased to come home and see my tribe. I was like, you know, really, when I'm away, it really makes me realize how much I miss them. But when you're around these people want you to grow. These people want you to succeed. So you will get encouragement from them all the time, where you don't have to ask for it. It's just there, and you do something, and these people will go, you know what, that was great what you done, you know, I'm so pleased, I'm so happy. So like I say, he was struggling a little bit with it, but it's getting there, you know. I know you get there. So this is, like I say, you don't need to look over your shoulder for somebody else's approval. This is a time of coming into your power and being amazingly you, really. Like I say, it's time to serve yourself. So this card is saying the time's arrived. It's like you have graduated, you know, you've gone up a level here, and it's graduation time. You've learned what you needed to learn in order to progress. And it's like when you're following your heart, then nothing is holding you back from the happiness that you know you deserve. And this is what is key. You know you deserve this. Now, Gandhi said that happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. That is true happiness. So it's getting the three of them together, a bit like this yard. It's the triangle, you know. When what you're thinking, when what you're saying, and when what you're doing are all in harmony, and they all are the same thing, you know, that is when you find happiness, you know. Osho also talks about this, and what Osho says about this card is, only if your meditation has brought you a light that shines in every night will even death not be a death to you, but a door to the divine. So this is talking here that an ending is not a death. It's not to be mourned. It's actually opening another door for you, and it's opening a door to a much higher and fruitful way of living, really, you know. He says that with the light in your heart, death itself can be transformed into a door and enter you into the universal spirit. You become one. You become one with the ocean. You know, I spent so much time at the ocean the last couple of days, and there's just such a calming thing about it, you know. What he's saying here as well is that unless you know the oceanic experience, then your life is being lived in vain. So he's saying now is the time. The fruit is always ripe. You need to gather the courage, you know, go into your inner forest. The fruit is always ripe. The time is always right. There's no such thing as a wrong time. So that's what Osho brings in with those cards. So like I say, we've got the moons, we've got the tarot, we've got the Osho. Everything is sort of saying the same thing. And there's such an excitement around at the moment. I don't know if any of you are feeling it. I woke up this morning and it was like, right, okay, this is, you know, we are very, very blessed to be alive at this time. You know I mention the age of Aquarius and stuff like that all the time, but it's becoming more apparent. You know, everything the Yogi Bhajan talked about, you know, everything that they knew about the age of Aquarius, about us raising in consciousness, about us finding our tribe, finding our true north, finding our home, finding where we fit, you know. This is all coming together. And like I say, the planets and everything, the universe are all forcing us to this. But they cannot make us do it. So they're clearing the way, but it's us that has to actually take that step and go down that path that it is presenting us with. Because, like I say, you know, it can give us everything and it can open every single door, but unless we're prepared to walk through them, then, you know, it is in vain. And like Osho said there, you know, unless you experience this connectedness, this, you know, right, okay, this is it, I am living it in my true self, then, you know, you are living a life in vain. And we have to remember, we only have one. You know, that's it. This isn't a dress rehearsal, you know. I was going to say that we can't go back and have another chance. But with the moons at the moment, they are giving us another chance to correct our course. So, like I say, you know, there's chances around, but you don't know how many of them that you're going to get. So, right, I'm going to go now because I am completely rambling, but it's always because I'm really excited, and it's because when I get this, when I get the flow, when I tap it into the energies, like I say, I was woken up very early this morning with just loads of stuff being downloaded, so it's good. So I would just say with this, be brave, truly think about where you want your future to go rather than the now. There is a transition coming, there is changes coming, but I really feel they'll be a lot more smoother than what you're expecting them to be. So just with this, let it go, you know, and you have to release in order to receive. So I'll be back tomorrow with the card of today. If anybody would like a reading, I am available for readings now, so please get in touch. I do have a little bit of a backlog, but I can fit you in if you want to. The link is below to my Facebook page on my website. And you can just book through there. I do phone, I do Skype. If you like these videos, please share them as well, and please spread the love. And I'll be back tomorrow with the card of today. Sat Nam.